You're not going to believe it. We thought we had the show set, and then this happened last night. Fox News alert, President Biden's pardoning his son, Hunter, excusing any offenses the first son may have committed over the past decade.
Madeleine Rivera is at the White House with the latest for us. Hey, Madeleine.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Well, this is a big 180 for a president who has long said he will follow the rule of law. But the president says he changed his mind because he believes Hunter's charges were meant to break him politically. In a statement, the president says, in part, here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. Hunter was supposed to have sentencing hearings on December 12th for his gun case and December 16th for his tax case. All of those now gone. But the president's pardon doesn't just cover these offenses. It covers any crime the first son may have committed between January 2014 to December 2024. And that time frame is notable given that Hunter joined the board of Burisma Holdings in 2014, and he has been scrutinized for his foreign business dealings. The president says he made this decision over the weekend while spending Thanksgiving holiday with his family. But NBC, which was the first to report this news, says the president had been talking about the possibility of pardoning Hunter with his close aides as far back as June when Hunter was convicted on those gun charges. As for whether we'll get any on-camera comments from the White House on this, there is no press briefing for the next few days with the president abroad for his long-awaited trip to Angola. Karine Jean-Pierre and National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby will gaggle on board Air Force One today, still that is off camera. And remember, the president held no news conferences when he had those international summits last month in Peru and Brazil. Lauren, Steve, Ryan, and Ainsley, rather.
All right, Madeleine, thank you very much.
Thanks, you got it.
Maddie unfazed by the cold weather. I mean, she does the same
at
at 60 as she does in 30.
And she ran to the White House.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really? That's fantastic. So we knew this was going to happen, but we just couldn't believe the audacious way it did happen. Number one, I think it took almost zero courage. You do it on a Sunday and then go to Angola and then take your press secretary with you. So no press conferences. Just let the chips fall where they may. Pardoning your son, to me, is not shocking. Roger Clinton getting pardoned by Bill Clinton, not shocking. But never admitting that you were going to do it, saying definitively you wouldn't do it, and then going ahead and doing it, and then the letter that followed to explain what went into it is just full of holes and inconsistencies that I think leave him wide open and leave his party susceptible to further damage.
In that letter, he said, quote, I have followed a simple principle, just tell the American people the truth. No, you lied to us so many times, but about this specifically, you said you were not going to pardon your son. You said it over and over and over. You said you didn't know anything about your son's his businesses. You never discuss it. Then there's video or pictures of you playing golf with his business associates. You said you didn't know anything about your brother with Burisma, but he lied about this, and I think he was always going to pardon. He just lied because he was running for president, and he didn't want that to hurt him and affect the election.
He decided over the weekend.
Yeah,
so
but listen to this. Here's why I think that he thought about it, and he knew he was going to do this. The sentencing for Hunter is in a few days, December 12th. The sentencing for the California case is on December 16th. So you have the Delaware case and California case within the next few days. So I think he said, I've got to do this now. And he pardoned him for 10 years. January 1st, 2014, 4 months later, he started working for Burisma.
So, Ainsley, speaking of lies, the Daily Signal puts it this way, talking about some of the lies that have been said from the White House podium. It's transitory inflation. Afghanistan was a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur lied. Biden's fine. Those videos are cheap fakes. Biden had jet lag. Biden had a cold. Biden isn't going to be replaced. Biden isn't going to pardon Hunter. The great thing about this is that now it seems like the president of the United States agrees with Donald Trump, that there's corruption within the FBI and the Department of Justice.
He said the exact opposite.
So maybe we can get something done about it. Now, finally, we're all on the same page now. So maybe we can get a new regime in to change this corruption that he says.
Well, and Brian, you brought up the fact that on the way out, Bill Clinton pardoned his half-brother, Roger, for cocaine. On the way out, Donald Trump pardoned his son-in-law, Jared's father, Charles. But what's unique about this case is both of those people had served time already. They'd already done their jail time. This is to avoid jail time because he has not been sentenced yet. And so this is just essentially a gigantic get-out-of-jail-free card. Axios says they've got to break down why Joe Biden did this now. And what it says is for years, well, this actually kind of makes sense. For years, Joe Biden has felt guilty because he became president and brought scrutiny upon Hunter Biden. And there were investigations and all that stuff. And so Biden and Biden's family believe that the attacks on Hunter ultimately were meant to push him into relapse and imperil Joe's.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be
Give me a break. He had more
I'm
opportunities than most kids ever do.
I am simply explaining their rationale for doing it at this time. So in other words, Joe Biden felt bad that his presidency caused Hunter Biden to get investigated.
But is Axios saying that's their theory, or are they saying that's the Biden theory?
That's what I said. So Joe Biden and the family feel that Hunter,
what his letter
they
said.
believe that he was attacked.
Yeah.
They were attacking Hunter to push him into relapse and imperil Joe's presidency.
Everybody from all different sides.
break.
It's such nonsense when you have people from all different backgrounds that have had people that had
exactly
disabilities when it comes to the drug addiction. No one's even talking about that.
parents.
People are talking about the corruption and explain that to all the men that you put behind bars when you signed the crime bill, and now you want sympathy for your son. You had no problem locking up all these other men back in the day after you authored a bill. So spare me with the, oh, this is because pushing him into relapse. No one even is talking about that.
And along the way to finding his international business dealing, we found hookers and crack.
Yeah.
But only thing people care about,
and he put that out,
is the Romanian billionaire, the Ukrainian Burisma deal, the Moscow mayor's wife, the millions coming out of China and the diamond rings. Those are the things that happen. By the way, this is the most luxurious crack addiction ever. With crack, usually your life goes down. The more crack he did, his life went up and millions came spiraling in. The fact is he didn't pay taxes on it was an additional red flag.
Well, you know what, Brian, what you just detailed, those are things we know of. Essentially, this pardon, this unconditional pardon, excuses him from anything he did, and that includes the stuff we know about and the stuff we don't know about, ultimately. And earlier it was brought up that Joe has put his entire political party, the Democrats, in a pickle. Think about the Democrats. What do they do to Joe Biden? They got rid of him, running for president, and now I don't think he cares.
Well, he was. I think
it is revenge. Absolutely.
I think he was going to do it regardless. I mean, they just lied about it. Whether he became president or not, the son was not going to serve one day in jail, which is why the media should have been keen to what was going to happen. I mean, they asked the question, so I give them some credit for that, but they said he's an honest guy. This is a guy that would never do that. And by the way, the White House sold us two stories. They said that Hunter Biden was a successful businessman and also that he was an addict as well. So the smartest man in the room that was also severely addicted to drugs. You cannot have it both ways. Either he was the successful businessman that had all these connections, or he was addicted. Can't be both.
I think also he thinks that as a dad, maybe he's afraid to lose another son, and that's why he wants to take care of this son. That's more important to him than watching his son have consequences for breaking the law.
Look,
and also, I shouldn't be, but I am just floored at the just lie.
Yeah.
I'm floored that he told us over and over, I am not going to pardon him. So I thought, well, wait a minute. I don't think he's going to just let his son go to prison. So maybe he's assuming that Kamala will win. Maybe they have a deal. Kamala will pardon him in January. That way he can continue to say, I'm not going to pardon, I'm not going to pardon. But then you look at the sentencing. The sentencing is in a few days for Delaware and for California.
Just a coincidence.
It's right before that is when he decides to pardon.
It's just a coincidence, Ainsley. He was thinking about it over the weekend.
Over the weekend.
Yeah. You know what?
Planned this all along.
Honey, you know what? I can't have any more cranberry sauce. By the way, give me the paperwork. I'm going to pardon Hunter. And you might as well tell him.
Well, we knew it was coming because just before the pardon, Hunter Biden's attorneys put out a 52-page paper called The Political Prosecutions of Hunter Biden. So it's like, okay, that pops out. Next thing you know, his dad says, I feel guilty about Hunter getting dragged through the muck, and so I've done this.
It's only political when it comes to Hunter Biden. Who knew that they were above reproach with everything else, but when it comes to Hunter Biden, then suddenly they become political?
Well, when President Trump tries to pardon the J6ers, I think he's going to have a lot less pushback.
Right.
He's going to say, yeah, you know what? I looked at it. They suffered enough. They actually went to jail.
Well,
so,
Brian,
in some cases,
it's not of if he wants it. He's definitely going to do it now. Yeah. He has all the political cover to do it right now. After this, no time, and these people have already served some time. You got a praying grandmother that was praying outside of the Capitol or right inside of the Capitol, and she's doing 10 years, I think. So, I mean, you can see the pardons coming.
Yeah, this is crazy. We have so much we have so much on this show
And
today.
listen, Hunter had every opportunity under the sun. I read his ex-wife's book, Kathleen's book, and wow. I know it's just her side of the story, but what he put his family through and his children through and his ex-wife through is unbelievable.
And we saw that at the trial, and it was hugely embarrassing to all the Bidens, and this essentially puts that all to rest. Or does it?
Right. I would say this. One of the reasons Michelle Obama is not really tight with the Bidens
because of this
is because they were tight with Beau's family,
wife.
Yes.
his wife,
Yes.
and they saw the way they just kicked her to the curb.
Yeah.
She's probably out there with London's daughter. What's the daughter's name?
Navy.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.